start for today. Yesterday we have discussed on the base object, landing tables, staging tables. We'll try to create them today.
Uh, Sunil, 1 minute, Sunil. Before going to discuss, please send me the recorded session Google Drive URL. And please start so that I'll download first. And and one more thing, I am unable to connect to Himachi, so it's showing an error like uh, you are on now online, but this computer is not at a member in Himachi network.
You join the network.
So yeah, I join when I join a network, by providing like username and like you whatever you mentioned in document like me ID and password, but I am unable to even send a request also. Maybe I think this is because of Windows 10, but I don't know what exactly happening.
You try to send a request. Don't copy paste the ID, just type.
Okay, okay, Sunil, I'll type.
Okay, right.
And please send me the videos recorded links.
Okay, okay, fine.
Okay, Sunil, thank you.
Okay.
Sunil, Vinay here. I have access from my personal laptop and instead I was trying to from my office also. So there also I need access from there.
Yeah, you access this from only one laptop.
No, actually, I was trying to from the office because I didn't get a time from home. So I was trying from the
That's what
for
you
practice purpose
either
as
either try from office or you try from home.
okay. So only one access we will get
Yeah,
it.
one terminal. Yeah.
So if I want to remove the as a personal
You
and I want to set up in the office.
send me your print screen of Hamachi, then I'll check it.
Okay, sure, sure. Already I have sent email to you.
Okay, okay, fine.
I think you have received.
Okay, now let's start with this creation. So first let's create this data model, base objects. So first create the party table, base object. To create that, right click, add item. 1 minute. Okay, right click, add item, then base object, name it as party, whatever is the table name. Then the table space, data table space, index table space, and the secure resources tab. Secure resources basically means that there are two types of resources, private, secure. If I remove this, it's private. If I select this, it's secure. Secure resources can only be shared. Okay, private cannot be shared. And secure resources can be accessed outside this tool like SIF IDD, which you will learn later. So this is not important now, but important later. Say okay. Then you will see the table will be created, and I can log in into the database and check meanwhile. So in database you can see that total 11 tables were created. When I created the base object, total 11 tables were created. You can see this, sorry, okay, so 6:38, that is this time now. You can see all the 11 tables were created just now. So it means when you create a base object, total 11 tables will be created in backend. Okay, what are all these tables that I have documented here? So if you check, then CTL, DRTY, EMI, AMO, HMRG. Many tables are there, out of which you already know one table. This table you know, the XREF table, that is something that you know. Remaining tables maybe you don't know, but XREF you have. Now remaining tables will, you know the architecture, right? How the architecture works. So we have different points in architecture, like um, landing to stage, stage to base object, then match, merge, dot dot dot. Okay, that's the thing. Now all these tables that you see here, they help Informatica in this process. They help Informatica tool in this process. For example, this will help during the match result will be stored. So this table is important for matching. This table is important for tokenization. This two for validation. This one is for merge. This one is external matching. So no need to worry. Okay, we will see these tables later when we go through, let's say in matching session, we will talk about this table and this table. Okay, so no need to worry. Just if possible, then you try to remember the names of all these tables, and if you can remember definition, what it contains, that's better. But it will not be used now. We'll use it later. Okay, so that's the base object creation. Total 11 tables, out of which we wanted to create this table, C party.
Sunil, one question, Sunil. Always the base object table should be like C underscore party, or it name changes from organization to organization.
Name can change from organization to organization, but normally main table will be party only.
Okay, some underscore party like before and like preceding underscore, the name can be meaningful name.
Right.
Okay. Always base object we can refer through underscore party. Am I right?
No, base object, there will be different base object. Party will be there, contact will be there, address will be there, out of which party is the main entity.
Okay, okay.
Hey Sunil, so one question. So always it is going to create 11, not less, not more?
Yeah, always 11 by default. If you enable some other options, then it will create even more tables.
Okay.
But 11 is
Sunil,
default, total 15 it will create if you enable all the options.
Sunil, I think in the notepad, it might be an example the way you put it, but based on the architecture, the base object should be at the end, right? The match and merge process will be in between, right?
No, base object match and merge will happen on the base object.
Oh, yeah, okay. So the process will happen, but the table, okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so data will be loaded into the base object. Once data is loaded, then match and merge will happen. So all these tables are actually nothing but they will help Informatica in match and merge.
Right. Okay. So it's a mediator, but the table, the end data will be only on the base objects, right? The golden record.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. 1 second.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Sunil, one more question. So, I think that this table will contain that this is the base object. So match and merge is going to happen here, but where the golden record is going to be stored? Is that based on that indicator, consolidated indicator, 1, 2,
Golden
3, 4?
record will be stored in the same table only, party table only, but consultation indicator will be one for that.
Okay, got it.
Golden record.
Okay.
Everything will be, the most important table is party. That is the most important table. Second important table is XRF table. Everything is stored in party only.
Okay, thanks.
Golden record will be stored in C party. We're saying like in X party reference, the duplicates will store.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So
So basically, we load the data to the base object, and then all this match and merge, all the different stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be performed, and at the end of the day, it will be the what we say will be in the stage 1, right?
Correct.
So it will be truncating and doing all the performance. It's done by the Informatica internally.
That's Informatica jobs that will move and that will do the match and merge.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Now we have created party, then you can create the other tables like address, contact. Now one thing you can observe, you don't need to write C underscore. So when I give ADDR here, let's say, if I give it 1 minute. When I give ADDR here, you can see automatically it takes the name as C underscore ADDR. If I try to remove this, then automatically you can see it's picking C underscore ADDR. So all the base object, staging table, landing tables, it's mandatory that it should be C underscore. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, fine. So it's mandatory. The convention is like C underscore, and there is nothing so special about this. But you will see that.
Can I ask?
Yeah, let me continue. Like you can ask questions later because I think the flow is getting disturbed.
Okay.
Okay, so see, there is C underscore is used for Informatica MDM. Okay, but you will see like for other MDM tools, they will also use their own convention, like Siebel uses S underscore, and if you see other MDM tools, they will have their own convention. So this is just basically to distinguish their repository with other vendors. Okay, so uh, nothing else apart from that. Just say okay, then create the third table.
Sunil, can't you change that C underscore anywhere?
No, you can't change it.
Even in the environment like something? No?
It's mandatory. Even if you remove it, it will automatically take it.
Suppose I want to give it D underscore, I can't give it?
No, you can't give.
Yeah. So Neil, please let us move on so we can progress. Then you have time for questions. This is stop, start, stop, start. We're not moving. We have only 1 hour. I'm sitting here in London. Time is 2 a.m. for me. I can't be listening to, it's not fair on us. Please, guys, let us learn something.
Right, let's continue. So we have created the tables, party, address, contact. So 3 tables are done. Now if I go to the columns here, then I can see now you know that I have just created the base object. I have not created any column, but if I say show system columns, then I can see a lot of columns here. So these are system columns. System columns means this will be there in every base object. So in every base object you will see this. For example, if I go to contacts, here also you will see. If I go to address, here also you will see. Why Informatica creates them? Informatica creates these columns for its own use, that is for internal processing, out of which you know one column, you know the consolidation indicator, you know another column, row ID object. Remaining columns you don't know, we will see. For example, like creator, create date, like who is creating the record, and then the date, updated by, who is updating the record, the user, last update date. This is the last update date in MDM, not source. Okay. Then these 3 things are not used by Informatica, reserved for future use. This is the delete indicator. Then last row ID system, you will see what is, I will show you the, practically I will show you, then you will understand. Then dirty indicator, this is demoted, so it's not used anymore in this one. And interaction ID is used if you insert a record in from IDD, okay, from Informatica data director. If you insert or update a record, this will be populated. Then Hofstede indicator we will see later. It's used in IDD. Then this is also not used. Dirty indicator, these two dirty indicator are not used because you will see that there is a separate table called as DRTY. From version 9.7 onwards, this table is used, but this column and these columns, they are not used. But anyway, we'll see that later. So you know row ID object. Now we have to create our these columns, or let's say in your project, if you are given like 20-30 columns, so you have to create this. Now we will see how to create that. Okay, there are three ways in which you can do it. Three ways. So the first way, manually. Manually basically means that you see there is something called as a plus symbol here, plus 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 plus. Okay, then copy paste name, then organization name, then status. Just copy paste. This is one way of doing it, and then you can also change the data type. So if you want varchar 20, give varchar 20. You can change it. Okay, here you change it. Let's say 60. You can change it. There's an additional minus. Just remove that. This is important. Okay, this physical name is important, not this, because this is what will be stored in the database. And null label and all those properties are there. We will see the properties. So there are a lot of properties. We will see. First let's create, then we'll see, then save it. So once I save it, then I can expect the changes here. So just refresh. So here I go, name, organization name, status, party type. The changes are done, reflected. Okay, and will the changes be, will it be applied to all these tables, or who is controlling these tables? Is the user controlling this or Informatica? Try to understand all these tables that you see here, right? You will not interact with any of these tables. So you will not insert data into any of this except party. Okay, so remaining party you will interact, remaining all the tables except party and EMI, these two tables, except these tables, you are never going to insert anything manually here. Okay, in any of these tables you're never going to insert or update anything manually. Who will do it? System will do it. That is the job of Informatica. So it will insert data whenever it is necessary. Okay, so it means I have done some changes here. Do I need to change the create additional columns here? Do I need to do that? No, that's not my job. So Informatica should do it. So whenever it feels it's necessary, it will do it. So if I go to the cross-reference, you can see that Informatica has done it. 4 columns are created. So that's done. Right? Very simple logic. So that's the creation of, that's the one way of creating. Now using the plus symbol manually. There is a second one also, which say lazy method, bit lazy, or I will say just like bit lazy method. Okay, what it means is we'll try to import it instead of manually creating. Let's say if I go to contacts, then I'm not going to use this plus symbol. Okay, rather what I will do is I will import the structure from where, I will import the structure from some other table. So let's say I have a table in the database or any database, and that contains the structure of these contacts. So I can import from that. For example, in ORS class 5, ORS underscore class 5, I have the structure of contacts. Let me try to import that. To do it, you have to use this thing, import schema. So click on import schema. Then this is lab 10. This schema should be lab 10. Password, remember, for any schema, the password is tiger. Okay, T-I-G-E-R, tiger. So you don't need to ask me ever the password of anything, any database, that's tiger. Now you can see there are many tables. Just choose a contact table. So C underscore contact. Here I go. Next. Then I can, all these things are there. I can just select this. Okay. If you log into ORS class 5, you will see that the contact table contains these columns. So I can just say finish and it's done. So that's a second way of doing it. Okay. Clear? Simple second way of doing it. Then save it. Then do the same thing with the contacts. Copy, then tiger. Next, sorry, the address, I mean, finish. So you can try both the methods. Okay, that one, this one. You can observe one thing, one precaution, the party ID, data type. So be careful with that. The data type of party ID should be char 14. Remaining things you can make it anything. That's okay, not a problem. So in here as well as in contacts, the party ID should be char 14. Why? Because you know that this relationship party ID, we are equating it to row ID object. So since we are equating party ID to row ID object, the data type must be same. Otherwise it's not going to work. So that is only one precaution, and remaining things are fine. Now one question, like I have a party, I have created, let's say I have created a party table directly in database. Let's say it's a question that I've created a party table directly in database. So that name of the table is party. Now I want to convert this to a base object. I want to convert this to a base object. Is it possible? Normally it's not possible, because you will see that a base object, it's not just a single table. A base object is 11 tables minimum 11 tables. So it's not possible to do it, but still we have a third method. Okay, third method. In this third method, what you can do is you can use a DM tool like Arvin DM, Arvin data modeler, or any data modeler tool. Okay, and then you can interact with MDM. So interact with MDM means this is bidirectional. It means if you create a data model or a single table, whatever it is, that thing you can import to MDM, or reverse is true. You can import MDM data model to data modeler tool. How is that done? That is done using repository manager. In repository manager, we have option like import from CWM file, export to CWM file. So the key here is CWM file. So basically if you want this to interact, then what you have to do is you have to export the CWM file and import to MDM and reverse also CWM file to DM. Anyway, this third option is related to repository manager. This we'll discuss later, but just for your knowledge that uh, it's possible. You can interact with Arvin here. Okay, you don't have to use this tool always to create the data model. You can also do it separately. Okay, now party contact address, sorry, party contact address, that's done. So is my data model complete? Let's check in schema viewer. It's done, but the problem is they are not related, so I can't say that this is a data model. It's a bunch of tables, that's for sure, but not a data model. So now I need to relate party contact, party address. We will learn now how to relate it. Okay, to relate it, first thing what you should understand is which is parent, which is child, which is parent, which is child. That knowledge you should have. Without that you can't proceed. In our case it's very simple. We know that party is parent, address, contact is child. So that's okay, right? Just 1 minute. Okay. So party is parent, address, contact is child, and you know the relationship. It's very simple. So this is the relationship. So this is what we are trying to implement. We will be implementing. Let's see how can we do that. To do that, you need to use this relationship tab. So you will see every base object will have relationship tab. So you need to use this. My question is that I want to relate party with contacts. So should I go with relationship of tab in party or relationship tab in contact? Which one should I use? Which one is correct? Use it, use the child. So never use the relationship tab of parent. It will create a reverse relationship. Okay, so always use the child. Go to the child, then take a log, then plus. What are we trying to do here? We are trying to relate party ID with the row ID object of party. How do I know? I know because it's written here clearly. So this is the relationship, isn't it? The address or contact party ID, that is this party ID, is equal to the row ID object of party. Okay, so I can just say okay. So that creates the relationship. Similarly, go to the address and try to do the same thing. The party ID is equal to the row ID object. One thing you can observe that why do I see only row ID object? Like, is it the only column that is there in party? Of course not. Why can't I see any other column? Can't I see? You are not able to see because this party has only one unique column. If I make something else as unique, let's imagine I'm going to make this name as unique. Just imagine. So name as unique. Then you will also see the name there. So you can also relate the name. Just I'm technically telling you, I won't do the name, but see, name also I can relate now. So unique columns you can relate, only unique columns. Okay, name should never be unique in MDM, so I'm going to remove that. Now go to the relationship and complete this stuff. Go to address, party ID, then row ID object. Simple logic, done. Now once that's done, move to schema viewer. So you can see that it is, I can see the data model. If in your case, if you're unable to see, go here and click on refresh. I mean, you can do that later. You don't need to do it now. Now just focus on this session. So party, contact, address, it looks like my small data model. It's almost done. Okay. Now just quickly we will see some more things. You can see that this is, what kind of relationship is this? This is like, what is this 2 minus symbol? Then this looks like a human being, triangle with a door, with a circle. Okay, so in data modeling world, this signifies the parent and this signifies the child, and here the relationship is actually 0 to many. So 0 to 0 to many. We will talk about relationships. What is 0 to many? What is 1 to many? What is many to many? All those things. But basically, 0 to many means a party can have 0 or many addresses. 0 or many. I don't like the word 0 because I mean I don't want to allow 0 addresses. I want mandatory 1 address. So I want 1 to many, not 0 to many. So to remove this circle, you see this circle, to remove that, what you can do is go to columns and make this party ID as not null. So now you can't have 0 to many. You can only have 1 to many. So the party ID is null means the foreign key is mandatory. Alright. So the foreign key is mandatory here. So every child record will have a parent reference here. That's the meaning. And if I go here, then refresh, you see here that for this guy it's gone, for this guy it's still there. If I change it for the contacts, for that also it will be gone. And just refresh, so it's gone. So it's now 1 to many. And if you want to see the relationship, just stop your mouse over, click on that, or stop your mouse, it will show you the relationship. Okay, so that's the base object data model creation of the base object and all that. And this schema viewer is pretty much like read only, except you can do something like right click, you can go to the party, directly takes you to that entity, or you can say like go to the job, takes you to the batch viewer job. Okay, or just like create jobs. This is not interesting, frankly speaking. The only reason why we use schema viewer is basically to view the data, I mean view the model, plus if there are like 20-30 tables or 50-60 tables, you can right click and say go to the party, instead of like using a spectacle to check which table is that. You can just go here and right click, go to the table, takes you to the table. Useful when you have more tables. Anyway, that's the data model for the base object. Now let's quickly create the landing table. Okay, so to create the landing table, you can click on this, right click, add item. Okay, then LND underscore party and say okay. So we need to create 3 tables if you remember. LND underscore address, then LND underscore contacts, LND underscore contacts. Okay, so now you might be thinking that okay, so when I created base object, 11 tables were created, right? Now how many tables are created when I created the the landing table? We can check it. It's just one table. Okay, so landing table is actually very simple. Select from user objects checks created by decreasing. So here I go. You can see here how many tables were created? 3. Do you see any other table? No. You can check it. There is no other table. Contract, MTIP, EMI, EMO. This is nothing but our base object. Okay, that got changed. So it is clear. So that's why landing table is very simple. It's nothing complicated. It's just a single table. And how do I create the columns? The method is same as what we have done in the base object. You can manually do it or you can just import. So I will just import it, easier for me, but you can try both the methods. 5 LND party. Next, choose all the columns. See, when you're doing it, just make sure that the structure that you're importing is actually exactly same as this structure. Alright, just check it once. I remember all the names so I can just proceed, but when you're doing it, just double check this. Okay, then contacts, contacts, then last one is address, not this address. This is the base object. Okay, I would like to import this structure and save it. So it's done, simple and quick, and you can also verify that in the database. If I go to this landing table, then you can see the columns. Okay, we created name, organization name, party ID. It's there. Simple logic. Now coming to conventions quickly, you should remember that for base object, for staging table, for landing table, normally when you join a real-time project, so there will be convention for base object. That is, in most of the companies it will be like this, C underscore party. That's the name that will be used. In some in very less projects, you will see it will be like C underscore B underscore party. Okay, B signifies base object, or it can also be C underscore BO underscore party. Normally we use these 3 convention, out of which this is the most widely used. Similarly for staging table, we use C underscore S underscore party underscore source system name, then C underscore STG, ST underscore star, or C underscore STG underscore star. We will, in training, we'll use the STG because it's very easy to understand. But in real time, it will be C underscore S underscore. Okay, hardly matters, but just for your knowledge. Okay, and this one is like C underscore L underscore in real time normally, or LD underscore, or C underscore LND underscore. Convention just.
The
Okay.
C is because it's customer, right?
No, C is mandatory in Informatica MDM product. So in Informatica MDM product, it's a mandatory convention that you have to use C. Even if you don't want,
Even if
Informatica will create C.
Even if it's for product MDM, it will be C?
It is for anything. So product, customer, anything, because the repository table itself, they start with C. So if you see the repository tables, these are our tables. All of these tables, they will start with C. So C is mandatory. Okay, now the landing tables are done, base objects are done. So if I check here, then landing is done, base object is done. We are left with staging tables. So you know this clearly that staging table can only be created once you have created the base object, and we have done that. So now we are qualified are we? Let's check. Can we create base objects? Sorry, staging tables. Let's try. So when I'm trying to create, it is telling me that there are no source systems defined. What's this error? Is it error? No, it's a message. The message is very clear. If you understood the architecture session, then you know this clearly that every staging table is attached or linked or related to a source system. So when I told you that every staging table, there will be an equivalent staging table for a source system. If you have 10 source system, then 10 staging table, right? So that's why we are getting this. It means that if you want to create a staging table, you must have source systems created first. You must define the source systems, then only you can create the staging tables. So first let's define the source systems, then we will come back to here, staging table. So how do I create the source systems? Can I create here? No. To create the source systems, you do go to systems and trust. So go here. You have two things, system, trust. Trust is for trust configuration, which we will see later, not now. Our focus is on system. That is what is used to create a source system. Okay. Now you can see that there is a uninvited guest already, that is admin, which is something that I didn't create it. Have you seen like, did I create it? I didn't create it. So Informatica does it for you. And this is, like, you can see it's in a blue symbol. So this is a special, this is something special, not like normal source systems. All right. So I will directly show you this, then you will understand. Okay. Just remember as of now that this is like a system source system. Okay. This has a special use. It's not like a normal source system. I'll show you practically why I'm saying like special. But this is where you create your right click, create your system. But what do we want to create? That's the question. So we want to replicate this source system. So we have a telecom case study, finance. Let's go with telecom because it's a bit wider. Now, in this case study, you will see that like I have, this is a short name for the source system. Normally we go with the short name because it's better, easier. Okay. And you will see every source system will have a short name. All right. Now this is the short name and this is the description. Like, what does it signify? For you, it's very important that you understand and by heart this page. So this contains description of every source system. Like, what does it do? For example, CKR, this is a client, central client registration. The K stands for European, so it's not a spelling mistake. So CKR, client, customer client, or central client registration. And this is based in mainframe. This system is in mainframe computers. All right. And the interface is real time. That means you're going to extract data from this CKR, central client registration, in real time using this TIPCO interface. That's the, actually this is from my earlier project. So I have this, I've just taken this from example from my earlier project and I'm just showing you that so that you get a direct exposure on how configurations will be. Okay. Similarly, I have MLO, which contains the prepaid customers. Okay. And this is batch and you will be getting flat files, delta, and then MLO ID is the primary key in the source and some description. Similarly, I have MCCS, which is for post-paid customers. Then I have COC, Chamber of Commerce. So Chamber of Commerce is used in European segments. I believe like European plus like United Kingdom, UK also they use the Chamber of Commerce for validating the companies. So basically what is this Chamber of Commerce in Europe is same as Duns and Bradstreet in America. So in US you have Duns and Bradstreet, and the equivalent of that in Europe is Chamber of Commerce. And what are these two? So what am I talking about? If I go and check like Duns and Bradstreet in Google, okay, so you will see what is Duns and Bradstreet. Duns and Bradstreet is a company. See here. So Duns and Bradstreet is an American company. Dot 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 dot. So what is that? See, this is very simple. The logic is in US and in most of the advanced countries, you will see everything is like outsourced, privatized. Okay, so let's say tomorrow I want to register a company called as XYZ Limited. I have created a company called as XYZ. I am in US, let's say, and I want to register my company. So if you are in a developing country, then you will normally register with the government. So register with the government and get all the license dot dot dot. And that is enough normally. But if you're in US, then this is just for namesake, just for the namesake. You must register with Duns and Bradstreet. Register with Duns and Bradstreet. Okay, so they are like, what do they do? So they do the same thing what the government does, but they maintain 1000, or if I remember 1200 attributes of companies. It means like, let's say XYZ. So they will collect your details, 1200 different details, your name, your revenue, your DUNS number. So dot 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 total, that will be 1200 columns in this database. Okay, so it's a very huge database as such. They'll try to collect each and everything. So that's what is Duns and Bradstreet, and that's okay. I mean, that is Duns and Bradstreet and Chamber of Commerce by definition. But why do we need that? Why we need that in MDM? Or first of all, do we need this? Yes, in MDM. Now why? Because this is a database of companies, right? So tomorrow, let's say my client, I'm getting a client called as Cisco Cloud Inc. And they are telling me that their DUNS number is something like this. It's a 9-digit number normally. So DUNS number is this. So how will I validate? To validate this, I must have this Duns and Bradstreet, and it's very expensive. But anyway, you will not pay from your pocket. The company, your client will pay. Okay. And then this is fiber, internet over fiber, and Oracle database, and this thing. Then this is the reference system, which is something that you don't know. We will see when I explain this data model. You will know what is a reference system. So you can skip this as of now. Then another system is fact. So the name is fact, and it's a data warehouse. Strange, isn't it? That data warehouse is my source system. That's right. In MDM, the biggest source system will be data warehouse. Okay. And it's in Teradata. Doesn't matter for us, but still, I mean, you have to know the interface. And badge, and then I have a CRM application as well, and that's called as one CRM, or this is OCRM or one CRM. It's in Siebel, and then I also have another source system, internet over old cable. So over old cable. So sorry, this is over fiber network. This is over old cable. So in Europe still a lot of people are in old cable and a lot of people are migrating to fiber. So you will see almost every telecom company will have old cable plus fiber combination. Okay, now so since we know you go through this later also, once the class is done, just go through this. Now we will try to create this system. So first thing you should understand is, so when I go here, right click and say add system, is this some kind of like joke or something, can you do this for fun? Try to understand that this is a one-time activity. You won't be doing it every day or something. You understand, right? So to so when should this activity be done, like add system? When should you do it? You should do it when you have decided to integrate a source system. So you might be having like 9 source system. That's okay. But will you be integrating all the 9 systems with your MDM? Is it possible to integrate 9 systems with MDM simultaneously, parallelly? I mean, technically it is possible, but it's huge risk. So normally we always go with 1, 2 or 3 source system, not more than that. Because when you club 11 source system, there is an issue with one source system. You have to cancel your go live, cancel your release. So that's risky. So we normally go with 1, 2, 3, and if your company is a bit aggressive, then they'll go with 4, 5 something. Okay, but so let's say if I've decided to go with this 2, so then I should add only 2. Don't add all. Okay, you should give a meaningful description and do it. So this is a one-time activity, again I'm telling you. So once you do it, you don't need to do it again. And just for your information, this information will be stored in this system table, C repos system. So the name is C repos system, that is this table. So an entry will be made here. You can see here CKR, and if I go ahead and create MLO, then you can expect an entry here. This is the refresh, right? Or I can press F5. Say 1 minute. See repos. Okay, so you can see an entry is created here, MLO. So just for your information, if you want to remember this table, you can remember. It's a very easy name as well. So I've created my staging, my sources. Now can I create my staging table? Yes, we can create staging tables now. Right click, add staging table. So the convention I told you, C underscore, I'm going to, so don't write C underscore. If you do that, then you will see there will be double C here. So don't write C here. That's a mistake. So I'm trying to create for party, stg underscore party underscore. This is interesting. So you must give the name of the source. I mean, you can give anything, but you know that every source staging table is related to a particular source system. So this one is for secure, and you have, just see carefully, you have system. So this is the place where you relate your staging table, to a source system. Clear? This is the place. Using this system tab, you do it. Okay, and then as I told you earlier, you can choose either all the columns or you can choose just some columns. Okay, if you feel that status and party type is not contributed by the CKR source, don't choose it. If it's contributed, then just choose it, right? So we're going to choose all. Then you can see something like preserve source system keys. Preserve source system keys is a concept, simple concept. Basically what it does is, if this option is selected, then what do you know about row ID object in base object? In base object we have row ID object and it's system generated 1 2 3 4 5 6 like that, right? Who is going to insert that value 1 2 3 4 5 6? System. Informatica will do it. Now can I provide values like 1 2 3 4? I mean, like, I don't want Informatica to generate the value like 1 2 3 4. I want Informatica to use the source key instead. I want Informatica to use the source key. Okay, so then you can use this preserve source system keys, which normally we don't use it because we would always like to use a surrogate key or something instead of storing the natural key, right? Then you see something called as lookup system table column. That is used for the child table, not for the parent. So we will see these three when we are checking the child properties. Okay.
So Sunil, this preserve source system keys generates the row ID object, is it? The row ID object.
No, it will not generate the row ID object anymore. The source key will be used as your row ID object. So the key from the source will be used as row ID object. Okay, that is why it is called as preserving the source system keys. But the limitation is you can only use it for one source system. So that is the limitation, and it's bit of a headache only because you need to give the highest reserved key, and if it goes beyond that, then it's a big headache. You have to again do data fixes, and that's a big headache.
Sunil, one doubt. You are creating staging table from base object, but in the base object, the predefined columns are there. So that uh, that predefined columns is not visible in staging table. So
These are the predefined columns: name, organization name, status, party type.
No, these are we created, kada.
Right, so
these
the
four columns
system columns will not be visible here. It will be visible in the database. Okay, when you go and check the database, you're talking about PKSRC object, last update date. So that will be there in the database. You can't see that here.
By default, it will create in database.
Yeah, it will create in database. We will see now.
Okay. Okay.
So when I say okay, then you will, let's check in the database what was created.
So there is an option called cell update. What is that?
I'll explain one second. First, today we'll try to cover the lab so that you can use tomorrow. Then we'll see the theoretical part. Let me check this C_STG. Okay, you can see total 2 tables were created. This is the staging table, you know, and this is the reject table. Okay, actually a staging table also has supporting tables. So these are the supporting tables, out of which I think you know a lot of tables. You know the raw table, you know the PRL table, it's used for delta deduction, and DLT table is used internally anyway. OPL is the brother of PRL. This is for real time, this is for batch. Okay, so why raw table was not created? Why can't I see raw table? Raw table will be created if you go and enable the raw option. Okay, then only this is created, and if you enable delta, then PRL is created. Okay, PRL, OPL, these tables are created, and anyway this table you will not see at all. This is just for understanding. This table is created during the runtime process and it will be dropped also. Okay, we will see this table in user exit. Okay, so this is done. Now you can add another staging table. So party, sorry, stg party MLO. Choose this as MLO. Select all. Then done. We have three options: allow null update, foreign key, cell update. I'll explain. But first, let's try to do the practical bit. 1 second. Okay, so now we have created successfully the staging tables for the party. For parent, we have created it. Okay, now let's create it for the child table. For child table, it's pretty much the same, except we will have a new concept, that is lookup concept. Let's see. So add staging table, then same old story. This one is contact, right? So contacts underscore CKR, then choose all. So till this it's the same old story, except now just observe this pen mark here. Okay, if I click on party, this is enabled. If I click on anything else, that is disabled. So why is this enabled for party ID? Because party ID is a foreign key. So for foreign keys, you must configure the lookup. I mean, you must. There is no other way of not doing it. Okay, and basically what is lookup? Lookup is nothing but, we will see lookup in a separate session. I've reserved a separate session for that, but still let's understand quickly. You can see this is the source key, this is the source key, this is not the source key. That should be clear. So this is not the source key. So if I want to load the data, I must translate this value to this value. That is nothing but I would like to send this thing to party and get this value here. Okay, so but the problem is the party table will never store the source key. That is the problem with the party table. So that is why now we need to refer to party cross-reference table. The party cross-reference table will store this CKR8011 in this column. In PKSRC object, this value will be stored, and then I will get this value and store it here. So I'm translating. Basically what I'm doing is, like, I have a lookup machine. I have a lookup machine that contains party, that refers to party xref table, and I will pass CKR8011 to this lookup machine, and in return it will give me 1. That is the row ID object, this value. Okay, how that happens? That happens via this query. Okay, this is the query. You can see this later. As of now, I will just configure it. I will explain this query when I load the data, then you will understand. Okay, because it's slightly confusing. So as of now, just understand what I'm doing is I am just configuring this to look up into the party cross-reference table and on this column PKSRC object. Okay, so let's do that, and remember the configuration. We will see this in action when I run it. So you can see here I am configuring this to party cross-reference and on PKSRC object. Just say okay. Okay, and when I create a second one, then stg contacts MLO. Make sure this is MLO. What happens if I choose this as CKR and this one as MLO? That's misleading. It's misleading and it will be wrong. Okay, then choose all, go to party ID. Then this party ID should look into the party cross reference and on PKSRC object. That's correct. But the source system should be MLO. Can't be CKR. Should make sure this is MLO. So whatever we have done, similar thing applies for the staging table also. So STG address CKR, choose all, the party ID. You must configure lookup CKR. Okay. Then a second one. You might be confused, I'm sure, about the lookup. So no need to worry. As of now, just by heart and remember. We will see this in action. Then you will understand. Because lookup is a concept. If I explain theoretically for 10 days, you will not understand. So I will show this with the data load, then you will understand. Now this is MLO. Done.
Hey, sorry, Sunil. So is that the same lookup transformation which we have in Power Center sort of
No,
logic
this
is
is
there
not
to do?
the same thing. Similar but not same thing. The equivalent of Power Center lookup is nothing but read database. If you go and see, here there is something called as read database. This is the equivalent, 100% exact equivalent of lookup transformation in Power Center. Whereas this lookup is slightly confusing, different. Okay, just understand what it does is, it's basically this is what it does. Okay, I have a staging table and I will look up into the party xref table. Similar concept, you can say it's similar concept but not same, and then I will get the row ID object in return. Okay, row ID object in return. That's so concept wise this is similar to what you have in ETL only, but configuration is slightly different. Because you can see that I am not specifying anywhere. So do you see that anywhere did I specify that please return row ID object? If you see lookup configuration, did I specify anywhere? Like, can you check here in any of this configuration that did I tell Informatica that please return row ID object? No, I didn't inform, because Informatica will return it by default. Okay, that's why it's slightly different from Power Center lookups. Okay, so you try to implement the base object, landing table, staging tables, source systems. Okay.
Sunil, I think you did a wrong configuration for a staging table for the lookup.
What is wrong?
You put the CKR in MLO.
CKR in no, this is CKR. 1 minute. This is
No, you
CKR.
put the MLO. Yeah.
Okay, this one. Okay, sorry. Right. Okay, now it's okay. So what is the significance of if I put like CKR here? What will happen is, so you will, whatever data you load here, right, in MLO table, it will not check this name underscore MLO. It basically checks this thing. So let's say if this is CKR, let's assume, and this is MLO. So you are loading MLO data here, but the system will treat as if it is coming from CKR. So that's what will be wrong if you do it wrong here. Okay. So you try to configure this, like complete this exercise. Then tomorrow we will see, I skipped a lot of theoretical part today, like there are a lot of options. We will see that. Well, okay, first we'll complete the trust tomorrow, then we will see these options. Okay.
Sunil, I sent a request, but I haven't got the feedback, so I cannot log into the...
1 second.
And Sunil, do you also have the documentations for these steps?
Which steps?
That we done today in class.
Documentation, like creation of the base object and all those things.
yeah, like yeah, the steps, like what need to be done first, then second, something like that.
Document is not there as such, but you can check the lab guide. In lab guide, it will show you like print screens, how to create it, but that follows a different model, but still you can use it.
Please, could you share that lab guides?
Lab guide is already there in Google Drive materials.
Please, could you send me that Google Drive?
Google Drive
In
I've
chat
already
itself.
shared with you, right?
I did not get.
Okay, then I'll share. I'll
Please
check and I'll
share
share.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Sunil, quick question.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lab get the source, the structure of the source and the relation, the details about the sources. Who gonna give the document?
For the Informatica MDM lab
Yes.
you're saying.
Yeah.
See, I will be
There will be a
following.
different guy who provides all those.
No. See, I will not be following Informatica lab guide. That is only for your document I've given. You can go through it, but I'll not be following. I'll be following this thing. Okay, so if you want to create that, you have to create the data model for that separately.
Yeah. I mean, in real time, who gonna give all these details like the source systems, party
The
data model,
business
and like.
analyst will be there. So the analyst or business analyst, whatever, or the designer, whatever you call it in different companies, he will be responsible for all this thing. Okay.
Sunil, this is Serge. You just shared the Google Drive just before this session. I haven't got a chance to look into that, but to get the access, what I need to do?
You just go through the tool access and go through this document and try to configure the Hamachi. Sorry. MDM tool access and go through this document. VPN tool login details. Just follow this till this step, till this.
Okay.
We need to provide these details, Sunil, or readme text
Yeah,
details.
when you're joining a network, just refer the readme.txt.
Sunil, I'm not able to open the Informatica Hub. Can you show the which link will be the Informatica Hub?
Once you're on, like in Hamachi, if it is showing the networks, then you can just double click this file. In your download this and double click this file. So it's like just double click this file.
Okay, so we'll save it in file and double click on that file.
That's it. Just save this, double click, but you should be in the network. Okay. If you're in the network, then you can do it.
What about the username password?
Sorry, what about the?
Username password?
It's admin.
Okay.
Sunil, one minute, Sunil.
Yeah.
When I'm logging into like when I'm connecting to Himachi, so like it's throwing and like sign. It's giving an one like pop-up window. Sign up or login to continue using Himachi. So when I'm logging, when I'm pressing when I click on login, so it is asking like log me ID and password.
Yeah, logme ID
When I'm
password
in
is this password, right? So that is a different, that is what is nothing but this password. So use
readme
this.
text.
No, that is this user ID password. You
Okay.
give
Actually,
this. So I've mentioned step by step here. So you first give this, then give the readme.txt.
For joining here, I know for in order to send approval for Himachi, I need to use this password or readme text password. Sunil.
Readme text.
But it's for me it's not working, Sunil. I think once again I'll check. Yesterday also I tried, but still it's showing an error.
Yeah, otherwise you send me TeamViewer user ID password, I'll check.
Okay, sure. I'll send you.
Okay.
Sunil, can you approve the first one is for me? Is eagle.org.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I use that same credentials in my desktop and in my personal laptop?
You can use, no problem.
Sunil, Will you share your contact information and email address one more time?
I think you guys, MVP, maybe it's me, I'm not sure.
Just check your machine name. It will be written here, like here it will be there, like machine name.
Yeah, Sunil, can you share the document like the tables and the description while creating all those the base of